All you guys, this is Mr. Bill Pipes with Tom Ferry, your coach, coming at you for volume number one of Real Success Strategies from Tom Ferry. And we're real excited to have the opportunity to be able to bring this information and to be able to bring this new sort of service to you. And really what our goal is out of doing this is to create a go-to network, to create almost a library of some of the top successful agents, some of the up-and-coming superstars, individuals that are producing incredible results in their business, so that you can hear from them, hear from their words, exactly what they've done, how they've grown, how they've progressed, so that ultimately, you can shave down, or anyone who's listening to this can shave down the time that it takes to get to where these individuals are, should you want that, or just collapse your growth curve as well too. So we're super pumped. We're incredibly excited to actually have you guys listening, and we're looking forward to a long string of these, so that you can continue to come back, month after month, week after week, and continue to grow with us. So today, for our inaugural interview, we have a good friend of mine, a great coaching client, really one of the up-and-coming breakthrough stars in all of North America, Mr. Darren Langille. Darren is a great agent in Calgary, up in Canada, and I've been in the business for, veteran for years, and truly having amazing growth over the course of this year in the last 5-6 months. In fact, he'll share with you exactly how it is that he's progressed and what he's seeing happen in his business. But I'll tell you right now, the guy has already surpassed the income that he made last year and the transactions that he did. And I'm super pumped to be able to actually have the chance for him to share with you and for me to have the chance to interview him. So hello, Mr. Darren. How are you, man?
Hello, Mr. Pipes. Doing fantastic.
Well, we appreciate you being here, man, and taking time out of your busy schedule. I know that you're rushing from one appointment to the next, and so it really is, a great opportunity for all of us to have you here. Hey, as we get started, could you do me a favor, and for all the viewers that are listening and watching this, can you share with them a little bit about your background, your history in the business, how long you've been in, and just sort of how the growth, how you grew over the last couple of years?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've been in the business since 2008 is when I first got my license. I did that, to be honest, in more of a part-time basis while I was operating a couple other real estate businesses at the same time. But since then, so been in there since 2008. We have actually opened our own brokerage in 2009, so I get the benefit of working under a brand that I've created. But over the last few years, we've gone from a single agent where I was running kind of my own deals as we all started, to running a team now of 3 buyers agents, an ISA, an internal transaction coordinator, and a full-time assistant. So we've seen some big changes to our group and to our production as well.
Talk to me a little bit about the production, because you and I were talking right before this, and I have the opportunity to talk to you every single week, which I love, with us working together. Last year you closed, how many homes did you guys sell, and what was your volume in GCI off that?
Sure. Yeah, last year we had our best year. It was a slow start, but we ended up with 50 transactions. Mm-hmm. GCI, this is Canadian, was just around 400,000.
Good for you, man. Excellent. Now this year, I personally am incredibly inspired by what you're doing. Can you share with them what you've already got closed and pended this year and what your goal is?
Sure. Yeah, no, this year we set some really big goals, getting pushed by you a little bit, as well as my own passion and drive. But our goal was to get 138 this year, which was a big, hairy, audacious goal, as Darren Hardy would say. Yep. So we're currently firm on 61, and we have an extra, I think, 2 to 3 right now pending, and 7 or 8 active listings. So things are looking good. We're on pace for our half-year goal, and we've met every month's goal so far. So.
Phenomenal, man. And you definitely have made some critical changes, and I'd like to talk about that here in a second. But first of all, congratulations on your success.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, of course. So, we always talk about, and you hear Tom talk about this, and even myself, and Chris Spiker, who's one of your friends, actually coined this phrase. He said, at the base of every business, you've got to have your core, and you got to build your fundamental piece of your business, that core portion of the business that's tried and true. And then you start placing bets. You know what I mean? Then you start putting, trying out other aspects, other farms, et cetera, other portions of the business, other sources. Can you share with us a little bit about what your core business looks like? I mean, because obviously you've been doing things fantastically to get to 50 transactions and now huge breakthroughs. So what is your core portion of the business, and how did you develop it?
Yeah, to be honest, our core is nothing sexy. Actually, our core comes down to our network, our sphere, past clients. That is the core business that we have. I ran numbers for 2013, and almost 80% of my business came from that space. So that's always been something I've been good at, getting out with people and networking and building and creating those relationships, and doing it right the first time so that they do come back. So that's been kind of what's taken me through, from 2008 onward, and I do believe that's going to continue as we continue to focus hard on maintaining that relationships and staying top of mind with the people that already know us and trust us.
So what do you do to create those relationships? How do you manage your database? What are the things that you're sending out to them? How are you appropriately pinging them on a
Sure.
regular basis? Can you share with us a little bit about what you do so that these guys may take it and run with it and be able to use it
Yeah.
as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess the core of it is kind of our tried and true hour of power that I put in. That's based for me around my past clients and sphere. So when I say hour of power is I've got a quarterly phone call that I make back to my past clients, touch base with them, whether it's, everybody's different, where I reach out on an email, whether I reach out on a text or a video text, or just pick up the old phone call and catch them when I can. So I try to do that every quarter with every one of them. So that's something I'm trying to be very consistent at as well. We do have a few emails that we send out, touchy-feely emails that are more mass, that go out
Mhm.
to everybody, but they're meant to create conversation. So
What do
that,
you what do you use for that, Darren? Because I'm on your mailing list, you know what I mean, which I love as your coach, and I get to see the things that you're sending out. And I mean, are you creating those all yourself? Do you have a service that does it? How do you leverage that piece or manage it, the emails
sure.
that are going out?
Well, the program we use right now is Happy Grasshopper.
Cool.
It's a very simple program. It's really not meant to be a lot of real estate information. It's meant to, instead of those standard newsletters that you see out there, this is more of to get discussion, to get something that someone can respond to, shoot you a quick little hi back, and just create dialogue. So again, I think every 17 days I send it out,
Hmm.
is what it is. And again, very simple subject lines, attractive subject lines, short little bit of text, as well as a link to some article that I think that they'd be interested in.
Excellent. Good. And you find that that's pretty effective. I mean, they're not opting out. It's not super sexy, but it's definitely grabbing their attention and it's valuable, right?
It is, yeah. We don't get again, email rate open rates are not in general aren't fantastic today in this world, but the Happy Grasshopper ones are better than normal,
Yeah.
and yeah, we don't get a lot of opt outs at all, so people are quite enjoy them. So
Cool. So talk to me a little bit about, like you said, tried and true. I love that, right? And let's circle back around and continue on the conversation about database. Are you doing anything different? Like, are you text messaging them? How are you using Facebook? Is there any type of stream economy processes that you found to be really effective in reaching out to the database and working with them?
sure. Yeah, you know what? Again, I've got a wide demographic of people that I deal with. The people in the early 20s, all the way up to people trading down, so I hit them all a little differently. I have recently gone as far as video text messages, which seem to be getting a great response. I don't usually get a video text back, but at least I do get a response.
What do they say
Or
when you do that? Do they respond back and go, "Oh, that was very"? Because most people may not even know what the video text is. Could you tell them what the video text actually is and how you use it? Because I love this idea that you're using.
Yeah, and again, it's simple as, we have big fumbly fingers and on our iPhones and our touchscreen things these days, and I find it's just as quick to pop the camera in front of me, shoot what I'm going to say on text message, and give it a more personal touch, and then you just shoot it right in front of you. You send it off to that client, that past client, that sphere, just to say hi, and that's all I do. And it's simple enough that usually I get a text back to say, hey, thank you, thanks for thinking of us, whatever it is. Oh, let's go for lunch. So that happens a lot from them. And again, I've only just started incorporating them, but I'm trying to put video more into everything I do. So.
And as we're getting prepared for Summit for the big event that we have in August that I know you're coming out to, and man, we're pushing this push of mobile and video really is coming hand in hand. I know you even were scheduling a coaching call and you actually sent me a video text of you, and so I know that you're using this above and beyond just that as well too. Do you use Facebook? Do you use Facebook for conversations with your database?
Yeah, I do actually. Just recently, I was sitting there. To be honest, this is multitasking at its finest. But I was getting a massage, and I sent out messages because I was trying to get more mailing lists. So I literally went to my Facebook group, spun down to people I haven't talked to in a while. I knew we didn't have yet, and they were just sphere. And I just sent out messages, some carbon copied message that that was personal enough. And all of a sudden, I get 15 email addresses that are going on my sphere mail out that's going out tomorrow. So,
that is a great idea. So you're using that. You send them a private message and says, hey, I need your updated information in terms of what is your address, what is your email, etc. Do you find that that's more effective than sending just an email? Do you get a quicker response from that?
I got responses back from people I haven't talked to in half a decade within 5 minutes with their
Brilliant.
information, asking me to chat, find out what I'm doing. It was really neat. It was, and I've reached out and I do connect with my people personally on Facebook, commenting on their things, not just liking, so that they do see that I'm actually putting some thought into it and they actually see that I responded. So I've been doing a lot of that, but this was an extra reach out just because I had a personal goal actually to beat my team on how much they brought in, and got it done here in about 5 minutes, and it was pretty neat to see. So
nice. You're not competitive at all, right?
No, not at all.
Killer, man. Hey, so let's talk about some of the places that you're actually placing bets right now. Because you're expanding. I mean, this year you placed a big bet online, right? Meaning that you expanded your online presence. Can you talk a little bit about that to everyone and how that's worked out for you and maybe challenges and how you overcame those challenges?
Sure. Yeah, I think you're talking about probably my Boomtown platform.
Yep. You got it.
So prior to Boomtown or any online lead generation, I hadn't done any of it. Coming into coaching last year, in a lot of sphere work, like I mentioned, hadn't explored anything online, didn't really understand how it all went. So actually, in September, I launched a Boomtown platform, which is just an online lead generation for buyers agents for the most part up here in Canada. I know in the States you can do sellers too. What that did is, it was an expensive platform. It offered a great back end, but what it is it drives a ton of online lead generation to us, and it took me by surprise a little bit on how well it works, and then as well, it took me by surprise on the amount of time you have to put in and follow-ups to get the conversions that you want out of a system like this. So I wasn't quite ready for it. And we're continuing to massage that and get better at it and add, more checks and balances so that we're squeezing, getting as much conversion as we can out of every online lead.
What have you learned? And I've watched your process. I've watched as you've grown through the whole Boomtown, and I think it's whether it's Boomtown, conversion, Tiger leads, any of these sources that are out there. If there's three things you've learned in the last, because you've had Boomtown now for what, 8 months, 9 months?
Yeah, right about. Okay. About 9 months, yeah.
About 9 months. What are the three things that you've learned in terms of converting these faster, and being more successful in terms of the online process?
Yeah, we were given a lot of stuff from the Tom Ferry Group about stats and Harvard business reviews and things about what we do with online lead gen, and I'm finding all of that stuff to be very true. And what I mean by that is, the time to first response is a big one. If you let these leads sit idle, they're going to be on somebody else's website. They're going to be called on by your competitor. So you have to get on it first. You got to do it within 5 minutes, and try to get them on the phone. And if you can't get them on the phone, you send them a message, shoot them a text, whatever it is. You need to get on that ASAP to try to connect with them, if possible, on your own website still.
Nice.
So that's one big one. The follow-up, again, it takes between the 6th and 8th, I think, to get the higher conversion rates. That's very true. We hound our guys, systematically, so that we don't try to let as little leads fall through the cracks as possible. And sometimes it takes 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 attempts to get them on the phone, but that's what we do. We're paying for these leads, so we might as well go after them hard.
I love it. Yeah, you know what? It's interesting. I saw a statistic about 80% of salespeople make the first call, and then it drops down to 30% make the second, and 20%, 15% make the third, and then by this fifth or sixth call, you got 2 or 3% of the salespeople that are still making the call, right? That are still following up with the leads. So you guys find that is a critical part of the conversion rate in terms of your online process. Well,
Yeah.
How do you guys generate the leads? Are you, I know some people down here in the States use Craigslist. You guys don't have that there in Canada. So what's been some of the best modes of generation and bringing consumers back to your portal on Boomtown?
Sure. Well, we have a Google AdWords campaign that is managed by Boomtown themselves. So we have a budget that we set, and it takes a little time to ramp up your campaigns with them to get the amount of leads that you're hoping for. So really, it's a dollar amount we spend, and it generates an X amount of leads, and it's on us from there to convert them. So I've started with a modest budget, and we're still ironing out the kinks, but it can come. That's mainly what I use. With these platforms and Boomtown specifically, we get a lot of repeat traffic as well as the first-time traffic, which just shows that a platform like this, if done right, can keep them there and keep them coming back. So that helps as well. And that is the site we promote pretty much everywhere. Right now, we drive all of our traffic to it, so that it's an easier capture ability. Everything's in one platform so that we can manage the leads from there.
Nice. Excellent. So you said something at the very beginning that I think I really want to center on. And I mean, even with your online presence, and you guys are generating what, a couple hundred, how many leads a month are you receiving right now?
Online, we're in the 125 to 150. Okay. With sign calls and other leads, we're close to 225. So my goal personally is to match what I can drive Boomtown leads with other sources as well. And that, as a team lead, that's what I'm looking to do to add extra value to my team. So.
Nice. I love it. So you still prospect. I mean, you're still on the phone. You said your hour of power, that you're still picking up the phone, making calls. How critical of a portion of the business is that for you, do you believe?
Well, it's huge, and I'm still working on getting better at it, that's for sure. I hadn't done any of this. That was just off the radar. I never wanted to be a realtor that had to go out there and prospect, and thought that was never something I was going to have to do. But then that only got me so far. But no, every day I have it in my calendar, at least about an hour's time to get in there and to make the calls to my spheres, to make the calls to online leads, sign seller leads. We do a lot of that. I personally door knock every week, whether it be to expireds, farm areas that we're looking at, that I'm starting, or just I'm out there a lot.
Yeah, good. And you're even, what I love is, dude, you still door knock. I mean, you're out and you're going out. Here you are, an agent that's pacing 130 transactions, man, and you're still willing to go out there and door knock and get face to face and belly to belly. So what would you say to those individuals that are like, gosh, I don't feel like door knocking. I don't want to, prospect. Is there anything, if they were sitting down with you and you were talking to them, what would you say to those individuals about the importance of prospecting, lead generation, et cetera?
Oh, it's really everything, because we don't have a lead to follow up on unless we've created that somehow. Unless you've got this amazing network that's just spewing you leads, which and you don't have to touch base with them, I really don't believe that exists. That will get you a handful of deals per year, but to get beyond the next threshold, which is what we're tackling to do, you have to go beyond that and stay on top, because we've got a lot of competition, right, in all of our marketplaces, and the one that stays in touch will be the one that gets that lead.
I love it, man. Love it. So check it out, man. Here I am. I'm a new agent. Okay, I want to get to 25 transactions. Okay, and you've been through this process. You've gone from 0 to 25, 25 to 50, 52. Now 138 is what you guys are pacing. What would you tell me are the critical parts of my business that I've got to get in place to break that 25 transaction mark?
You know what? When I was doing my first year, I did 17. to be honest, fell into it. I'm blessed with a bit of a good network. But if I would have taken the stuff I know now about database management and keeping track of everything and all the leads into some database that you can go back to, follow up on, record your calls, put notes in there that that you'll remember for next time, and then all of a sudden surprise that person you spoke to with the information that you've retained. If I would have done that and followed up properly, I would have easily broken that threshold earlier to 25 and beyond. So that is something I just never had. I used Outlook. I used it very randomly, and I didn't believe in the organizational mindset to really database catalog and get these things, get our leads and our contacts into a manageable list that you could use.
Nice. I love the theme. We keep coming back to database, database, database. And if you're going to have a sellable business, which we all want to have, one day to be able to potentially have at least the option to sell it, all that you're selling is your database, right? I mean, you're selling the model of the database, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So check it out. Okay, Darren, here I am. I'm at 25 transactions because I'm like at 25 transactions, and I want to make that leap up to 50. What would you say you noticed for yourself was the big factor that shifted, or what you implemented that got you from 25 to 50?
Sure. It seems daunting when you're in the 1.5 deals a month, 1 deal a month, 2 deals a month, to think that you could manage something like 4 to 5 deals a month. And I remember thinking that was crazy. I didn't have the mindset to think that was possible, or the people that are doing it are doing something fancy and there's a magic silver bullet. And I came to the realization that after I went from 25, I went to 42 the next year. That really it was a renewed focus that I put in. It was a mindset that this is fully attainable, and I went for it. I guess when I made that change, I think I started to let down a few of my guards, and I broke through a few walls in my comfort zones, and I to get beyond what I was doing before. Because to be that next level, you have to become a different agent. You have to either grow, learn, push yourself farther than you did before, and whether that is door knocking for the first time, whether that is cold calling for the first time, or simply at an open house willing to bring out that sign-up sheet so you can follow up with it later. A lot of people you miss the opportunities that are in front of you just because you don't want to seem salesy, and because we've got that rep out in the industry, but we can do it, and people will be receptive to it.
I love it, man. So I've watched you have some highs, some lows, but consistently, man, you've got one of the better attitudes of anyone, and better, like, more mental toughness than just about anyone I've had exposure to. And I think that's, as you said here, a critical part of your success and why it is that you've had that breakthrough. How did you develop that? Like, what are a couple things that we could do to develop mental toughness, or that have worked for you?
Oh, that's a very good question. I've had a competitive edge all of my life, being in varsity sports and things like that. This year, I was allowed by my business partner to basically get out and focus fully into the sales business like I've always wanted to, and having that confidence and having somebody behind me that says I'm good with whatever you're doing and I'm here to support you. That helped a ton. The reassurance within our group that we are on the right path, and our coaches that that you're not in this alone, and then you're not really recreating the wheel. You're fine tuning it, and we're taking the latest and greatest things and adding it to our businesses as it makes sense to add to our businesses. That having that gives me the confidence that there's really nothing out there that I don't know, that I can figure it out within a phone call or two within our group. And I've used the resources beyond our coaching tremendously, and I continue to do it every week. So
I see you on the inner circle, like on the website or on the Facebook fan page. You come to our coaching calls and you're like, I just had a conversation with this great superstar, that great superstar. So what I hear you saying here, Darren, is you're constantly reaching out, and you're not just trying to figure out yourself. You're looking at the methods that others are using, and so that you can glean from them the best bits of what they're doing. Is that correct?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and we kind of, a few of us, we'll mastermind, we'll have little things, whether it's about a Facebook advertisement campaign, or whether it's about how we best use our online lead generation, or what is somebody doing in a different marketplace, because I'm personally moving up into the luxury bracket. So reach out to guys like that to find out, well, what is it they're doing that's differently. So, if you had to do this all yourself, it's pretty daunting.
Yeah.
But having the network of people we have here is phenomenal. It's intangible, and it's to be honest, I would pay just for that. So
Totally, man. Yeah, it's invaluable. I totally agree. I love what Tom says. He's got that great conversation right now going on about the rich and the rest. What the rich agents do, what the rest of the world does, or what the rest of the agents do. And I think one of the key components is the rich don't try and figure it out on their own. The high producing agents, they look for the models of success and they just duplicate that and duplicate the successes subsequently as well too. Anything like wrapping up here, man? Dude, I have gotten so much out of this. Even though I talk to you every single week, this has been amazing. Anything you want to say to them wrapping up, like besides go make your calls or
Sure.
Get on this or take action? Like what would you say to them?
You know what? One of the my two themes this year are consistency and automation, because what I don't want to do is have a banner year and set it up so that I don't know how to replicate that. So with that, I'm trying to create the habits to be disciplined for a short amount of time, so my habits are created, so that this is just something like breathing, whether it's my hour of power, whether it's my door knocking, whether it's my direct mail send outs, whatever it is, it's going to be ingrained in me by the end of 2014. So to find that habit, to create it and just let it run, because sometimes we overthink this business, and I'm trying to get it to the point of automation so that I don't stress about it at nights. That's definitely one thing. The other thing I got caught up a little bit is chasing the shiny penny of sorts. Yep. There is so many ways to spend money in this business. There's ways I didn't even know before joining the coaching networks, but to see all the avenues that we have to take, it's very easy to throw your business plan aside, chase something, and end up down a rabbit hole that you shouldn't be in. So trust your coaches, trust what you put together that will work for your business today, and there's always going to be time to add those other things later. And I've really scaled back on that chasing the shiny penny syndrome, and it's helped me tremendously. It's allowed me to come back to my sphere where obviously 80% of my business came from. Yep. And I hope that's to be that case once I'm at 130, 150, 200 and beyond, because those networks are invaluable that we have.
Awesome. Yeah, I've heard the phrase, Derek, go small to get big, right? Which means get small in terms of what you're focused on, right? Instead of having to have all of these things that you're doing, go small so that you can grow the business big or do whatever, build that big habit, etc. So, dude, awesome job today. I so appreciate you being on the call, for sharing, your growth process that you've gone through. I know that I got a lot of value. I know that everyone who's listening did as well too. And you know what? For all of our viewers and all the listeners, here's what I'd tell you right now. Number one, I don't want this to be, Tom Ferry doesn't want this to be just another, information piece that you heard once upon a time and then we don't do anything with. We're committed to action, as Darren said, right? We're committed that you take something from this, then you go do something with it so that it makes a difference. Knowledge is not power. Knowledge with action has the potential of power and incredible results. So today what I would recommend is, and for every single one of these incredible interviews, as you listen to them, in the weeks to come, what we would recommend is pick out your 2 or 3. What are the 2 or 3? As soon as this is over, write down your 2 or 3 things that you're going to implement, right? Bring it to your coach. If you don't have a coach, bring it to someone that can hold you accountable, and so that you can make sure that action comes from this great knowledge that Darren shared with us here today. And, again, Darren, thank you, bud. Really appreciate you being on the line, taking time out of your schedule. And for everyone that has not, if you're not one of our great clients, hey, feel free to visit us at tomferry.com. That's www.tomferry.com, or you can call 888-TOM-FERRY. All right? So either way, we wish you massive success until we get a chance to have you on our next interview. And until we talk to you, keep your mind focused on the future. Keep your actions right here in the present, and keep on moving forward. Keep being powerful, guys. Look forward to talking to you soon. Thanks again. And thanks again, Darren. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. Appreciate it.
Yep, you got it.